This is Stereoactive Presents. I'm your host, Jeremiah McVeigh, and in this episode, I'll be yet again trying to keep myself sane in the run-up to Election Day. So here I am again with a reminder about a simple truth about Donald Trump that if the world were a rational place, would easily disqualify him from public life and public office. I'm mainly doing this as a means to maintain my own sanity in the run-up to Election Day, because considering how terrible a person Trump is, it's ludicrous that the election is so close. He truly doesn't deserve to have a platform for anything in public life and should not be close to the White House again. And he never should have been able to reach the office the first time around. Somehow, though, here we are again. And what I'm going to talk about in this episode could probably be considered the original sin of Trump. The thing that should have kept him out of public life before we ever had to suffer through all the other sins. So here's just another reminder of one thing that should disqualify Donald Trump from being president. The man is a bigot. I mean, seriously, what the hell? He started his career discriminating against black folks who wanted to live in the buildings owned by his family. Famously, the Nixon administration sued his family's company over it. And how racist do you have to be for Nixon, of all people, to come after you for discrimination? So that's example one. Example two, and I'm skipping ahead now, is his treatment of the so-called Central Park Five. These were children who were swept up by New York City police for supposedly attacking a jogger in Central Park in 1989. And those kids were the targets of racism from all sides. The NYPD essentially pinned the attack on them because of the color of their skin and really little else. And that was good enough for Trump. He took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the death penalty to be brought back in New York State so that these kids could be put to death. Over the years, it became clear that they were innocent, and police had coerced confessions out of them. As a result, all five were eventually released from prison and exonerated. But Trump still apparently thinks they're guilty, and they've even sued him for defamation in recent days because of comments he's made to that effect. Skipping ahead again, then of course there's Trump's inane quest to prove that the first black president of the United States wasn't born here and therefore was illegitimate. Despite all his B.T. Barnum bluster about bombshell evidence that he was always on the verge of being able to share with the world, the evidence never came. And it never came due to a simple truth. It was complete and utter bullshit. Barack Obama was born in the United States. But as has become abundantly clear over the years, if you're not a rich, white, straight, cis man, Donald Trump just thinks you're worth less than other people and worthy of his scorn. Then, of course, he launched his first presidential campaign with a thick dose of prejudice against Mexicans, and went on after taking office to try and block people from Muslim-majority countries from entering the U.S. Fast forward to the COVID-19 pandemic, and he tried his damnedest to blame it all on Chinese people. And, of course, let's not forget the supposed horde of invading brown people he'd warn everyone about every time there was an election that then would never show up because it also did not exist. He just wanted to make you afraid of brown people. And now, in recent weeks, he's been demonizing trans people as yet another one of his many bigoted get-out-the-vote schemes. Plus, for all his supposed love of Jewish people, you don't have to dig very deep to connect how he talks about them to anti-Semitic tropes and conspiracies. And here's some late-breaking, wholly unsurprising news. The preferred candidate of David Duke and plenty of other American Nazis has, according to his former chief of staff, expressed admiration for Adolf Hitler and his generals. So, yeah, those are pretty much the greatest hits of Trump's prejudices. Suffice it to say, though, that you could devote a long-running weekly podcast to dissecting all the ways in which he's a racist and a bigot. In a sane world, this would disqualify him from the presidency. Thank you for listening to Stereoactive Presents. The music in this podcast is by Man in Gray and The Unsacred Hearts. My name is Jeremiah Lee McVeigh. If you like what you hear in this show, please rate and review it in Good Pods, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else that allows that. Doing so helps us expand our audience, and it's much appreciated. And please follow us wherever you happen to listen to podcasts. Every little bit helps. And again, it's truly appreciated. You can also get in touch with us at stereoactivemedia@gmail.com. And you can find more information about this show and everything else that Stereoactive Media is involved with at stereoactivemedia.com. This podcast is produced by Stereoactive Media.